Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of Gemini Soulcast. I'm your host, Rob.
And Cin.
And we're here once again. Happy October, everybody.
Happy October, for real.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's Halloween month already. Halloween's already arriving.
Halloween month, yes. Wow. So, Halloween month in just a month of October, I feel like every month has a kind of a theme.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like is the theme for this month?
Ooh, this month. Wait, didn't we pull a card on this?
Yes, we did.
Oh, isn't it Just Ask?
It is, yeah. So earlier on, at the end of last year, Cin told me a ritual that she started doing called the 12 Magical Nights.
I thought it was 13 wishes or something.
Oh, 13 wishes, yeah. So pretty much each night you burn like a wish that you have until the 13th one. You hold on to that one.
You save that one.
But then with each month, you also pulled out an oracle card.
Yes.
And the card that you pulled out for October is Just Ask.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of Just Ask, I think about like asking your spirit guides.
Okay.
Asking for guidance from your real friends, but also from other sources too.
Yeah. Like the universe.
Like the universe.
So we're talking about like manifestation?
Yes. 1000% manifestation.
Manifestation.
And I don't know if you can hear right now. Maybe the microphone doesn't pick it up. But as we were saying manifestation, we just heard the sirens going by.
And you know what that means?
What does that mean?
It means that this is an urgent conversation to be had.
A much needed conversation about manifestation. So for those who, I feel like a lot of people at this point are aware of the word manifestation.
Yes.
But to you, what is manifestation?
Oof. Manifestation is creation. Us creating our own lives. Manifestation is like, first of all, we're manifesting all the time.
Right.
Right? So it's like what we said in our last episode about like life mirroring us. Right?
Yeah.
So when you think about manifestation, you're attracting things into your life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're going to always focus on what it is that you want.
Right.
So you're helping. It's like you're co-creating with the universe to have these things, like, you know, the career, the love life, the money, the abundance. Mm-hmm. You're in co-creation.
And from what I know, like, you are constantly manifesting, right?
Yes.
So, which means whatever you're thinking about, whatever frequency you're vibing on, you could be manifesting the good, positive things in your life. Yes. Or if, for example, you have a scarcity mindset, then what you're manifesting into your physical world is scarcity all the time.
More of it, yes.
Right. So then I guess like my question to you is that like I want to hear about an example of how you like manifested something into your life.
Ooh, okay. So I am gonna bring up my guy Anthony Ramos.
Please do.
Shout out Anthony Ramos. Can't wait to have you on the podcast.
And we will.
Speaking it into existence.
Love that.
So it's basically like, for example, with him, like I've known who he is since like 2019. And, you know, I didn't even realize like I was already watching a show on Netflix that he was a part of. She's Gotta Have It. And I didn't recognize, I didn't put two and two together. So here I am. I come across this guy like that's part of like an independent film. I think it was called Monsters. And I was drawn to that trailer and I was like, oh, I got to check out this movie. And then I see him in the movie. I'm like, oh, he's pretty cool or whatever. Right. And not knowing what his official, you know, name is. Like, you know how you see a trailer or whatever. You don't know the actor's name. And then it's like all of a sudden now he pops up on my IG. And then I'm like, oh, this guy looks cool, whatever. And then I see like how he's making music too. So I start following him, but nobody I know follows him. Nobody. We had nothing, you know, like how you have like mutual stuff.
Yeah. Like he hasn't popped off to that level yet.
Right. So I'm just there like, all right, whatever. So I start following him and then he announces he's doing a show in Brooklyn. And then I'm like, you know what? Should I go see like him in Brooklyn? Should I go check out his music? Check out, you know. And then I decided to buy a ticket and it was like $30. I was like, yeah, I could do this or whatever. So then I check again or whatever. And then I see that my daughter Jade's best friend from childhood. Stephanie's her name. What's up, Stephanie, if you ever see this or hear this. And and I see that she's kind of like following him. So then I tell her like, hey, how do you know who this guy is or whatever? She goes, oh, I just started following him like a week ago. Like, it's wild. So then I was like, I got these tickets. Do you want to go? Long story short, she goes with me. I hear his story. Like, he writes an album based off his journey.
Oh, wow.
And he explains why he wrote each song. And that was his first album, right?
Wow.
And it's called The Good and the Bad, right? And I'm listening to this. I'm watching him tell his story, and I'm just like really drawn to him. I was like, yo, this guy's like super inspiring. Like, I would love to have a conversation with him, like on a live or something. So something like that, right? I'm thinking about it, or like, damn, it would be cool to have some, or like on a podcast or something. Like, I thought it. But at the time, like, I wasn't fully doing my lives yet anyway. But the whole point is, fast forward, I conquer my fear of public speaking, doing IG lives during the pandemic. I keep like, I'm speaking about this. My audience, they're all like, they keep talking about Anthony Ramos too. Like, yeah, you're gonna have him on, whatever. And they're like really supportive and whatever else. 2021, he hops on my live.
Ooh.
And I'm doing readings. I'm in the middle of like shuffling the cards. And when I tell you is like, I'm like, I still believe like he's gonna be on our podcast. He's gonna be on something. So
We'll make this happen.
I knew like this was like I've manifested so many things, but this was one that I've been like very adamant about. Like, I've seen it. Like, I need to have a conversation with him about his journey because it's so inspiring. Like, the whole point is that he's super inspiring. Comes from Bushwick, Brooklyn. Like,
Word.
You see all this stuff. Anyway, so he winds up hopping on my live, doesn't follow me or anything like that. I like commented on like a friend's post on IG that I've never met in person either. I just know her through IG. And, she's like, she has her own podcast. She does all this stuff. And I comment there. And to my knowledge, he liked that comment.
Oh.
Because I added him, I added him. He likes the comment. He goes to my page, sees that I'm alive, and then goes on my live. That's how that happened. So I was just there like, yo. So I lose my mind. You saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw you. Like, your hands were like,
I lost my mind, y'all.
Shaking.
So anyway, the whole point is like, that was the first time that like I actually manifested something, manifesting him hopping on my live, and I've envisioned his name come on. And that's part of manifestation too, visualization. Right. So it's like you're trusting, you're knowing, you're asking for something, you're speaking it into existence. And I kept saying like, yeah, when we get on this live, when he gets on my live, he got on my live. Now I'm just like, I want to have an actual conversation.
Like have it as a guest.
As a guest.
Right.
Like, it's my biggest thing. Like, I'm going to conquer it. I'm going to conquer this.
Speak it into existence.
So he hopped on or whatever. And then it was like, after that is like, if I, now we're in 2024. Mm-hmm. And earlier this year, I finally met him.
In person?
In person.
Wow.
So from 2021, besides like liking some of my comments and viewing some of my stories, like he's done that a couple of times. And then he released like a song and I posted it and he DMs me to thank me for my support and reposted it on his page. Like, it's just the little things.
Right.
It's like the little things that are, and I'm like, yo, this is going to happen.
Right.
This is going to happen. And then finally, the beginning of this year, like I see him post that he's being honored, for like they gave him like Anthony Ramos Day in Brooklyn. And sick. Yeah, and the whole thing where the Brooklyn Borough president is like naming this day after him and giving him like an award and
wow.
Like all this stuff was literally 2 blocks from my house.
Oh shoot.
At like the high school, like right 2 blocks away. And I was like, yo, I gotta go over there. So I go over there, I see the whole thing, and this is right before now where Twisters came out, and the whole thing happens, and then I'm like, all right, cool. Damn, do I wait for him outside? Like, I just want to like let him know, like, I want to do this live with you. Like, I just want to tell him this, but I'm like, well, how do I tell him? Am I gonna wait for him outside the school? Like, am I really gonna do this? But then I see, like, after everything done, he gets off the stage and goes like down to like the floor area and starts taking pictures with people. So then I was like, oh, this is my chance. Let me go over there. So I go over. I tell him in like 30 seconds or less, everything.
The whole thing about,
I seen you in concert. I love your story. You're so inspiring. You hopped on my live. I lost my mind. I'm a psychic medium. This and that. He's just looking at me like, oh.
Everything's hitting all at once.
Like he's just taking it all in. And I was like, I would love, like, you know, I just want to do a live with you and this and that or whatever. Like I said all this stuff, and he's just there like, wow. Like he's like this. And then he goes, oh my God. He was like, wow. He's like, I'm so happy to meet you today. Like, and I was just there like, that's because we're gonna do this.
right.
It's coming in, baby. It's coming in.
Anthony.
Yeah. So I speak on this on our podcast because I still want him to be a guest. And I'm still in the process of manifesting, but I manifested all that.
Right.
I did it.
Oh my gosh. And for you, it was a mixture of like power of visualization, frequency, like repetition.
Yes.
All that.
Yes.
They got you there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big one, I would say.
That's a big one.
To like manifest like somebody on a caliber like Anthony Ramos.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty big.
And I feel like when that happens, maybe for somebody, it's like, well, how is that possible? Or how much work do I have to put into manifest this and something as big as that?
The thing is, too, is like people will say like, wow, like it finally happened. Like, you know, it's been like 3 years since he hopped on to my live. But I don't go that hard. I pace myself. Like sometimes I'll tag him on stuff like stuff he's doing, and that's what I'm saying. Like he always goes and views it. Mm-hmm. Now he comments, like he responds now. Like he'll comment, make a response to whatever I comment on his page. He'll like stuff if I put it in my stories. Like he'll like it. So I feel like
nice.
I think he knows who I am now.
Like,
now
definitely.
He's putting the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
So he's doing more now, but in 2022, I wasn't thinking about manifesting him because I was going through it with my dad that year.
Right.
So it was all about, you know, my dad and life then, and then, you know, then my dad passed. 2022, right. 2023, I was still like a mess. I was still going through it.
Grieving, yeah.
And I'm not thinking about like manifesting this or whatever, or even thinking about like podcasting. Like, you know, like I thought about it, but it wasn't like the way it is now. Yeah. So in the beginning of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm back on this. Like, yeah, like, all right, I got to have this guy on a live. Like, I still got to have him on a live. Right. And then I met him in May.
Nice.
From the beginning of the year to May, made it happen. We met.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to be able to manifest that.
Yeah. Have you manifested anything big that you could think of?
Yeah. I would say so. There's this Chinese American rapper that I've been following since 2015.
Wow.
Like 2014, 2015. And I heard about him back when I was in college in Boston, and I was working at a tech company. I love listening to hip hop, and I was always trying to find Asian American artists. Okay. And so this coworker of mine from Boston, he said, oh, yo, you like hip hop? You like Asian American representation? There's this guy that I went to high school with. His name's Bohan Phoenix. I was like, okay, cool. I checked out his music. I was like, oh, I like his music. It's great. And he mixes Mandarin with English in his raps, which I thought was cool. And he does like Chinese like trap music. Oh. You know, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm listening to his music. I don't think too much about it. Sometimes I'll comment on his like Instagram posts and stuff. And at the time, I didn't have a picture of myself.
Right. Okay.
I just had a blue. It was just blue. It was just like a blue. Like, you know, on the icon, you can have a picture of your face on your profile picture. Mine was just blue. It's just the color blue. And then I was actually doing a different podcast. In 2019, I did a podcast called Chinosity. We had a live event, actually, for our podcast.
I can't wait for that.
No, it's sick because like people pull up. It's a whole event, and we invite like Asian American artists, and the headliner was Bohan Phoenix.
Wow! And he came.
Yeah, obviously he came. And then beforehand, my boss at the time, Cleopatra, shout out to her. she was like, hey, like we also want to interview Bohan Phoenix, and I had a guest at the time too. Like I had a co-host, Christy. Shout out to Christy. And said, hey, would any of you want to interview Bohan? And I was like, me. I'm 100% going to interview him. And so then here I am. This is 2019. I have this moment where I'm sitting down because you want to interview Anthony
really
Ramos.
Really badly, yes.
I had that moment when I was sitting with Bohan Phoenix and I was interviewing him. It was awesome.
Was it surreal? Were you like, yo, this is wild?
I was nervous, but I was excited. I didn't want to fanboy over him and stuff like that.
We try to keep it cool.
Yeah, I was like, bro, like I bought your EP, the physical CD EP. I bought it, like your first EP that was on SoundCloud. Like,
wow.
I did all that, and I just told him like how much his music meant to me and everything. And then he was like, oh wait, Rob Chen, are you the Instagram that has the blue?
Wow.
I was like, yo, that's me. So he's like, oh yeah, Vidos, thank you for the support. Yeah, sometimes I see you commenting on my posts.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was in 2019. And then pandemic happens, right? And then there was a whole bunch of like anti-Asian hate crimes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we had him on again as like a guest. I got a chance to interview him about what does it mean to be Asian, but also doing hip hop, how the Asian and Black community, they intersect and where the tension are. And then he's like, then he hits me up one day and he's like, oh, hey, soon I'm doing a music video. Pull up.
Oh!
So I pull up to his music video.
Yo, do you guys see this? The power of manifestation. Go ahead.
It was like insane because like there's a bunch of people, we're all background extras, and he had us all like a quick little feature, like half-second long feature with different faces, different people that represents community. So everything he represents about, I was like, wow, I really admire that. Kind of the way that you have so much, admiration and respect for Anthony Ramos.
I do.
I had that for Bohan Phoenix, and so I pull up to the music video shoot. We do it. I'm like, thank you so much for having me in it. And then it was like 2022, I'll say, or end of 2022, 2023. He's like, I'm doing a show at SOB, Sound of Brazil. He's like, do you want to be like a backup vocalist?
Get out of here.
Yeah, because by that point, he already knows what I do. He's like,
do y'all hear this?
And I remember back in 2020, there's all these protests happening for Black Lives Matter, but also for like stop anti-Asian hate. I remember going to that protest and I spoke a poem out there. It's a spoken poem. And when I left, I saw Bohan Phoenix there. And he's like, bro, man, that was inspiring. Just hearing him say that, I was like, this is crazy. And so now he knows like who I am. He knows what I do. Now, unfortunately, with the whole thing with the performance and being a backup vocalist, I attended his rehearsal and things, but eventually just different direction of music performance. He's we ended up scrapping the backup vocals, but just letting you know that like when we were deciding on who we wanted to do backup vocals for, you were at the top of the list.
Wow, do you see this?
I was like, what? So yeah,
that's so interesting too, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't like I necessarily was so like, oh, I need to meet this guy. I have to. It was just more like, damn, yo, I really like his music.
Yes.
It'd be really cool to meet him someday.
That's how I feel.
It was just that. There was no there's no anxiety around it.
No.
And
none.
It was nothing that I would have ever expected.
But you see, like, it's like when you put it out there, like, damn, it would be cool to meet him. Like, that would be cool, right? But you're not attached to it.
Hey everybody, so normally this would be a commercial break, but here on Gemini Soulcast, we're taking this time out to read an affirmation for the day. So Cin, what is the affirmation of the day?
Ooh, affirmation of the day is I release all criticism.
Ooh, bam, release all criticism. What does it say on the back?
It says, I only give out that which I wish to receive in return. My love and acceptance of others is mirrored to me in every moment.
Yo.
It's a pretty good one, though.
I love that. Now, part of that is I release all criticism. I think sometimes it's criticism from others. A lot of times also it's our own self-criticism.
Oh, yeah. The self-sabotaging and all that.
Right. It's real.
Hard on ourselves.
I definitely do that to myself a lot. And so for anybody who feels that they beat themselves up over things that they've done, whether it's in the past or currently right now, let that all go. Constantly repeat that affirmation to yourself. I release all criticism. Remember that you're enough and you're worthy.
Have more compassion for yourself.
I agree. And with that, back to our episode. When we talk about manifestation, a lot of it's like, oh, whatever you think about, whatever you want, speak it out into existence. Think about it, be on the same frequency. But sometimes it's good to have that, but you also got to detach from it too.
Yes.
Which means you got to trust in the universe.
And not focus on it all the time.
Yeah.
Like you're waiting. Because if you're trusting, you're not waiting.
You know, I'm not even going to lie. Like in this current time right now, I definitely have moments when I'm very impatient.
Yes, you do.
Like, I'm so impatient.
I've witnessed it, guys. I've witnessed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you want everything like right now. But a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You're not, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people want it like right now. Like it has to happen now. But it's like what I was saying earlier. Like we had a conversation before this. I was just talking about like how we have to trust in the process.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's of like one door closes, another one opens.
I think like for a lot of us, including myself, like I hear what you're saying, right? Like one door closes, one door opens. I understand that intellectually, but in my heart of hearts, in my soul, I'm still like, but I want this thing. And it's like, I feel like sometimes I'm still trying to open that door when it's so closed shut. How do you get to the point where you're able to zoom out and be like, hold up. Even if this door closes, there's a window that's open.
Yes.
There's a back door that's open. Like, how do you do that? How do you flip that switch?
In manifestation, they say you have to persist in that of what you're saying to yourself. So like a lot of people use affirmations, right? They affirm. They're doing it to reprogram their subconscious belief.
Right.
So you're really like becoming more self-aware, and you're getting to the point too where you're like, you're regulating your nervous system.
Yeah.
So that you're not constantly getting triggered or living in some type of anxiety around the issue.
What are some affirmations that you use for yourself?
I love money and money loves me.
Hey,
I be saying things like, I'm magnetic, I'm beautiful, nobody compares to me. Like, you know, when it comes to love and certain guys, you know, like you want to like speak to yourself and think highly of yourself. It's like, it's the self-concept work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, like with the insecurities, like the low self-esteem, the comparing has to stop, man. I know it's hard though, today's day and age, because like me, when I was younger and stuff like that, we didn't have all the social media either.
Right.
But some people get so fixated on it. But you realize that I can create any story on social media. It could be a total lie.
Right.
And you know this. Like people just project, like they put on this whole performance. And then people look at themselves and like, dang, but they have it. How come I can't have it? Like, you know. And that's why they tell you like to focus on your own journey. Focus on you. And you're not focusing on lack of. You're looking at it like, let's say you want like, you know, like this beautiful penthouse in New York City. Like you've always thought about it and you see it and you feel yourself in that penthouse. Let's just say like high up, right?
So power of visualization.
You're visualizing, you're tapping into the feeling of it. It feels great. You see it, you know, you're seeing it. And then you meet somebody. And then like you make a new friend or whatever. And they're like, hey, come over to my place or whatever. And you go over and they're in a New York City penthouse. And you're looking at it like, yo, this is what I want. So instead of feeling like envious or jealous or like, damn, how did they get this and I don't have it? Why don't you look at it like, wow, yo, the universe is really showing me that I can have this too.
I think people sometimes forget how powerful they can be.
They definitely forget. We all do. We
Yeah.
all do. It's not just y'all. Me too. Rob does. Like
Sames.
sometimes we forget and we need a reminder.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like things will happen in our life to remind us.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
like be grateful because you're still here. As long as you're still here, I always say this too. Like as long as you're still here, you can do it.
it almost makes me feel that like part of the manifestation elements, in addition to, as we talked about earlier, law of detachment, law of frequency, and affirmations, another element of manifestation is also gratitude.
You have to have gratitude.
Yeah. Because if you don't have gratitude over the life you currently have, you're always going to be either thinking about the past or thinking about the future. But you're most powerful in the present. You manifest in the present moment, which means you got to look at your own surrounding. You got to look at your life right now and be grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like your life is perfect. No. There's always something that we want to improve on, that we want to get, we want to do. But if you could appreciate what you have now, then you're already in alignment with abundance.
Yes.
And so I feel that like a lot of us could benefit from having more gratitude. It will only help you with manifestation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And bring in the blessings, because if you want $100, let's say, why can't I have $100? Well, right now you have $50. So if you're not grateful for that, why are you going to receive more? If you're not grateful for 50, why is the universe going to give you more?
Right.
So that you can, once you get to 100, be like, I want 500. This isn't enough. Like, you're never going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
The more gratitude that you have, she's going to keep giving you more and more, because she knows you're going to be grateful for it.
I love that. It's almost like when you have like a child maybe, and the child's like, I want candy, and you give them the candy and then they're not grateful. They don't say thank you. Are you going to be willing to give that child candy more so? Probably not. You'd be like,
right,
oh, man, this ungrateful little
yes.
Right? Like,
you got to be grateful. If you're in a place, like a space, like I hadn't been happy in my space for a while, because I'm like, I keep saying like, oh, it's too dark. It's too dark. And what happened a month ago? I get home from the beach. I have no lights in the kitchen. And then I didn't have lights in that kitchen for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, because my landlord was away and we couldn't get an electrician to come in. Like, something kept going left. Couldn't get them to come to fix this light. And I was like, I'm never going to walk around saying that my apartment is too dark. Because I spoke it into existence. And now it's like, you know what? I'm getting rid of this. I'm getting rid of that couch, like the old couch. But now I'm like, oh, what could I replace that with? Like, now I think I'll get a couch and, you know, a new one, and something that's brighter maybe. And you know what? I think I'm going to change the curtains. And like, now I'm like, I'm being more appreciative of like my place. And I have like an amazing like landlord that takes care of us, like me and Jade. Like, you know, he tries to do his best. Like, anything happens, tries to fix it, you know.
It's amazing.
Just so happens he was away when I didn't have any lights. But that was a lesson for me.
It's almost like the universe being, oh, hey, I'm going to force you to be grateful for the fact that you have this type of living situation.
Like, yeah, like I should be grateful. I have a roof over my head. There's people that don't have that.
True.
I have my bedroom is my zen. I could complain about my apartment, but I love my bedroom, and I created that zen myself.
Right.
The energy, every time I go in there, I feel safe, secure. Like, you know, I feel love in my room.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But imagine if I just go around complaining about everything all the time and this and that or whatever. Like, more things would fall apart.
I can't help but to picture, like, even outside of our own lives, like in relationships, in friendships, even for myself, I don't want to always hang out with somebody who's complaining all the time.
Nope.
That's such like a dementor. That's such a soul-sucking, energy-draining thing. And so when we complain ourselves about whatever our life is like,
yes,
universe is going to get sick and tired of us sometimes.
Yes.
I can't even imagine like my own guardian angels, my own ancestors. They're looking at me being like, Rob again, talking about how this ungrateful ass.
Yep.
He wants us to have him? No, we're not going to give him to him. Not today.
Yep.
He has to learn his lesson.
Yep. And I think like, it's wild. I think even in that same podcast that I'm talking about, that I listened to, one of them said that, I think it was her. I think it was Flora. That was saying like, imagine that the universe is your friend. It's one of like your best friends, one of your good friends. If you're sitting there talking shit about the universe, why is she going to want to come hang out with you? Why is she going to want to do things for you? You know how you have a best friend that's like, I'm always there for you. If you need my help, I'm there. If you're constantly complaining about like, yo, how come I don't have this money? Like, I keep asking the universe, she don't bring me shit. Like, you're talking crap about her and it's getting back to her. Why is she gonna want to come like hang out with you,
Right.
and bring things to you and be of service to you? Why?
And when it comes to manifesting, a lot of it is trust. So it's like you gotta trust. You trust your best friend.
Yes.
Trust in the universe.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to.
You gotta trust. You gotta act like this is my one of my best friends, and I trust her because she always takes care of me.
She always takes care of me. I think that's a great affirmation.
She always takes care of me.
The universe always takes care of me.
Yes.
Like I'm always being taken care of. I have enough. And I think it's good to just repeat those words to yourself. And for those who are just getting into manifestation or affirmations, I just want to say that it's okay if it doesn't feel normal at the beginning.
Right.
Because it's like your body is not used to feeling these words. Your mind and soul is not used to feeling it because you've kept abusing your soul. You're abusing your mind and your body.
Yes.
With negativity.
Yes.
So when you're saying all these positive things, it may not feel comfortable at the beginning. It may feel kind of phony.
Yep.
But trust and believe that as you keep saying it, whether it's in the mirror, whether you're in prayer, whether it's just by yourself, whether it's you're saying it in your head or in out loud or journaling it, just keep having that positive flow.
Just keep doing it. You're reprogramming.
Yeah. And some days are better than others.
Yeah.
But show up. Keep showing up for yourself.
And the universe wants to give you what you want.
Yeah.
She wants to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that prevents it from coming is us. We do it.
We block ourselves.
We do
a lot of times.
And and I get it. Like you were saying, like there's people that don't believe in manifestation or they're getting into it, but how does it work? How does it work? Start small.
Yeah.
Manifest like a lot of people try to do. They manifest a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Manifest a quarter.
Yeah, something. When I first got into manifestation, I remember like I'm like at my job and I had just started there, and I was working in criminal court, and I forgot what is it that I forgot? I forgot my money, I think it was, or I forgot like my debit card. So I was like, oh, and at the time too, no, that's not what it was. I forgot my ID. Mm-hmm. I forgot my ID to get into the building. So I was new, so I didn't feel comfortable calling someone like, hey, can you open the door for me, the side door? So I got to go through the front, which means I got to go through security, right? So then I'm like, I'm not doing this then. I'm not going to go buy lunch because now I have to go through security again, and they don't let you bring food in. So this is my mindset, because again, I didn't have any friends. I had just started. So I remember getting into the office like, man, well, I guess I'm not eating till I go home. Right. And then I go, well, universe, if you feel like I'm supposed to eat, then you'll bring the lunch to me.
Huh.
Forgot about it. I'm learning, I'm training, I'm doing my work, this, that, or whatever. My boss, he comes out of his office and he's like, I'm going to go pick up lunch. What do you want?
What?
And I say to him, oh, no. I said, really? I go, well, I don't have my card, no, I said, I don't have my ID or nothing like that. Like, I don't have cash. And he tells me, I didn't say all that. I'm asking you, what do you want? Literally. And I tell him what I want and he brings me lunch.
Yo, that's awesome.
That day, I was like, oh, nah. I could do anything, man. I could do anything. I don't care what anybody says. Manifestation is real.
It's real.
She brought it to me. And then there was another time, like this is now, like maybe like last year. Another time, I'm like, I get to the office. I'm hungry. I didn't eat anything. I hadn't gotten my coffee yet. And I was like, I gotta get something to eat or whatever. Damn, I wish I had a corn muffin. My coworker who had left our bureau and went to another bureau walks in with a bag and I go, what's this? He goes, I got you a corn muffin.
What?
Yes, that happened too.
Oh,
I got
that specifically corn muffin. You were very specific about it.
And
too.
I said I wanted a corn muffin, and guess what? Then somebody else brought me a corn muffin. I got 2.
You got more than one.
And I was like, yo, I can't eat both of these right now, but this is wild.
That's crazy.
How the heck? I was like, I'm hungry. I really want. Maybe I should just go to get a corn muffin and a coffee from like the guy at the cart, and they brought it to me.
Oh my God.
Can't make this up. Like, try something small. Something small.
Just to see, just to prove it to yourself. And be open to it. be open to.
Have you manifested anything small? Because that's like smaller, like getting a lunch, getting a muffin. Is there anything you can think of that you've manifested?
Yeah, definitely. I've manifested all types of random things, like, oh, I was feeling an avocado, and then my friend had an avocado, and like random fun things. But then I remember one time this year, I was feeling very lost, very overwhelmed with my life. I wasn't sure the direction of where I want to go. That day, I was about to travel to New Zealand. My family has an altar. And so I light some incense just to pray for protection, safe travels. But then I also told my ancestors and Gunyam Pasa, which is what we call her. She's like the goddess of mercy. And I just tell them all, I'm like, hey, like, I don't know anything. I feel lost in my life. But if I'm on the right path, show me by sending me a butterfly.
Oh.
And the moment I leave my house with my dad, I see a butterfly floating above my house. And this is like mid-April, still a little chilly in New York City. I don't expect to see any butterflies out there. I see a butterfly fluttering. We're in the car. We're driving. We're on our way to Newark Airport. On the highway, I see a butterfly, a second butterfly, fluttering above the car.
Yo.
At that point, I get overwhelmed because I'm like, what? I asked for a butterfly, and on that same day, I see 2 butterflies.
Yep.
I get to the airport. At that point, I'm just overwhelmed with love, feeling seen, feeling heard. My prayers have been answered. I'm in the bathroom. I start crying. I cried so hard because it's like, oh my God, wow, I think I am on the right path. I don't know how, but maybe I'm on the right path. I step outside the bathroom, and there's a piano. There's a piano. It's not like you go to any airport and you're going to see pianos everywhere. But it's specifically at that Newark Airport, at that place, that area, like, there was a public piano. And I started playing piano.
I know, I remember this.
Yeah, and like I drew a small crowd, and people felt, oh wow, thank you so much for playing piano. Oh, that was awesome. And I was like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path. I'm on that plane. We fly off, and the passenger next to me, she's this lady, retired from like Oregon. She says she used to travel a lot internationally with her late husband. Her husband passed away, and since then she's only stayed in the West Coast, and maybe sometimes travel to New York. I say maybe you should go travel sometime. I think it'd be really good for you. She says, "Oh, I'll take your advice." And when we landed, I was like, "What's your name?" I was like, "My name is Rob." And she's like, "That's my late husband's name."
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like almost as though her angels collaborated with my angels to be like, let's send Rob, like, give him this message from her late husband. I have layover in San Francisco. And here I'm talking with my friend Carla. Like, yo, this is crazy. I just saw 2 butterflies. Like, I've manifested it on that day, same day. Midway through, tell me why is it that I'm on the phone with her talking about butterflies, and I see this girl on a like scooter. She's scootering down, and on her shirt is a big butterfly.
They were on you that day.
They were on me that day.
Woo.
And that's a whole separate thing about that's manifestation, but also synchronicities. That's also signs, right?
Yep.
From the other side, and that's a whole separate topic that we could probably dive into. But you know, that's an example of how, like, I manifested butterflies, but I was also channeling like my guides to help me get there. So try it.
Just try it,
even if it's something small, and be open to it. And I feel that you'll be surprised at what you get.
You'll be really surprised.
And that's why they say be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. You know?
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you. So I want to wrap up this episode now, because we had such a fruitful conversation. It was amazing. Good. I love hearing your stories about manifestation. Great. And I know that as our season progresses, there's going to be so many more stories about manifestation, about synchronicities.
Yep.
But if there's one thing you want to leave for the audience for this episode, what would it be?
If there's one thing, man, just ask.
Hey, as the theme goes for October.
Just ask. Take a chance. I mean, you're never going to know unless you try it.
I agree with that too.
So I feel like just trust. But if you're going to ask, detach from it. Don't wait for it, because remember, if you're trusting, what am I waiting for? It's coming in. I know it's coming in. So don't constantly think about it. You only want to focus on what you want. Right. Don't focus on the things that you don't want to happen. Don't focus on lack of money, because you're going to create less and less money. Like, you just want to focus on, wow, I'm really grateful for this $20.
Yeah.
And watch what happens. Just remember, you heard it here on this podcast.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. You guys heard it here. Once again, I am your host, Rob.
And I'm Cin.
And thank you guys for tuning in to Gemini Soulcast.
Catch you on the rebound.
Hey.